Hello and welcome to episode 64 of the How to Survive podcast. This week we're talking about the Michael Mann thriller Collateral, all about Jamie Foxx driving a taxi. So if you haven't seen Collateral, then now's your chance to pop off and do that before you listen to the podcast. If you want to get in touch, the email address is howtosurviveshow@gmail.com and the Twitter handle is @howtosurvivepod. And if you want to suggest any survival tips or any films, that's the way to do it. Next week, we're talking about The Hunger Games, which is sure to be a great podcast, so go out and watch that film ahead of next week. On with the show.
Hey, come on, I'll take it. I got 5 stops to make.
What's your name?
Max.
Max. I'm Vincent.
I'll meet you in the alley behind the building. Oh, no! What the hell? You killed him. Red light, Max.
Hold on.
Man, you were gonna drive me around tonight and never be the wiser, but we're into plan B. Now, we gotta make the best of it. Improvise, adapt to the environment. Whatever, man, we gotta roll with it.
You just met him once and you kill him like that?
But I should only kill people after I get to know them?
Hello and welcome to the hot streets of Los Angeles on this balmy evening. My name is Chris and I'm your taxi driver for the evening. And joining me in the back of the cab is Joe.
Just keep the car running, will you?
I will do. And we'll head straight on with a quick plot recap of this week's film. It's Collateral. From this point onwards, it is all spoilers. Max is an LA cab driver with dreams of setting up his own limousine company. He picks up Annie, a beautiful lawyer, and bonds with her during the drive to her office. Having dropped her off, he picks up another fare, Vincent, who convinces Max to take him around 5 separate stop-offs that night before dropping him off at the airport the next morning. At the first stop, Vincent heads inside an apartment building. Shortly afterwards, a body lands on top of Max's cab. Vincent is revealed to be a hitman with 5 targets to dispose of that evening. He forces Max to continue driving him to the rest of his targets, forcing his complicity in the murders of a man in a penthouse and a jazz musician. On the way to the next target, Max reveals he is supposed to visit his mother in hospital that night. To avoid suspicion, Vincent accompanies him there. At the hospital, Max steals Vincent's briefcase and destroys it, along with the details of the final 2 targets. Vincent forces Max to talk to his client, crime boss Felix. Through some tough guy acting, he succeeds in getting the final 2 targets' details, but Felix orders his men to follow Max to the next target and kill him if anything goes awry. Also on his trail by this point in the movie is Detective Fanning and the LAPD, who have linked the murder victims as witnesses for the upcoming grand jury indictment of Felix, due to take place the next day. At an LA club, Max and Vincent find the next target before all hell breaks loose. As Felix and the target's respective bodyguards, the LAPD and Vincent have a dramatic shootout, Detective Fanning sneaks Max out of the club, not believing he fits the profile of the killer. Outside, Max's escape is thwarted when Vincent kills Fanning in cold blood. Max becomes enraged on the drive to the final target and crashes his car, intending to stop Vincent's rampage. Vincent escapes, but Max learns his final target is Annie, the very pretty lawyer he met earlier, what he fancies. Max tells Vincent to Annie's office building and arrives just in time to stop her being killed. They escape onto a metro train, and Max engages Vincent in a climactic gunfight, killing him. Max and Annie leave his body on the train and depart. And that's how Collateral ends.
Yeah.
With the very romantic death of Tom Cruise.
I was watching this and thinking how many of these scenes are contractual obligations of Tom Cruise's. Like, the film opens on him just picking up a briefcase, which Jason Statham gives him in one weird scene.
Yeah, well, this is probably made before Jason Statham was any kind of deal.
But still, it has to open on Tom Cruise, who doesn't really enter the film for another half an hour. And then the film ends on Tom Cruise, like, still somehow an anti-hero, even though he's a villain.
Yeah, it's weird, isn't it?
Yeah. And then you get the customary Tom Cruise running, which is always nice to see.
Yeah, lots of Tom Cruise running. So, Tom Cruise running aside, Joe, what did you think of Collateral? Michael Mann's 2004 LA Noir Collateral.
It was fine. I don't think it's anywhere near as stylish and deep as it thinks it is, or as Michael Mann would have liked it to be, or as perhaps it should have been. But it was quite enjoyable, I think, nonetheless.
A serviceable thriller.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, two parts that took me completely out of the film
Okay.
were when Vincent goes in to kill the first guy. Max is like rifling through his bag, and he's just got like a full double-page spread of a Mercedes-Benz, which takes up the whole screen for must be like 10 seconds.
Yeah.
And later, they're showing the taxi just like drifting through the streets of LA.
When you say his bag, you mean Max's own bag.
Yes.
He's looking at adverts for limousines, basically.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
But the Mercedes-Benz.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, specifically.
May as well just have the logo on the screen.
Yeah, exactly.
And then, as I say, they're drifting through the streets of LA. And there's a close up on the top, you know, the sign on top of the cab?
Yeah.
Which is the Bacardi advert.
Right.
And it must be in the centre of the screen, just like bobbing around for must be 20 seconds. And I was like,
big fan of product placement in films, aren't you?
Yeah, I love it. Yeah.
Well, I enjoy it. I like it. It's a good film.
I'm not going to let that ruin the film.
No, I think it's one of my favourite Tom Cruise performances as well. It's really
big talk. He's been in a lot of films.
I know, yeah, but I think it's really refreshing to see him as a villain, even though, as you say, he's sort of cast as an anti-hero because he's like, even though I don't understand, I think he's like an anti-hero for like the internet generation, because he's like a sociopath who can't like empathise with anyone else on a sort of human level.
Is this post Fight Club?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it must be like they were trying to do something like as deep as Fight Club.
Yeah, because he goes off on like sort of philosophical things.
We'll come to that in a little while because I've got a little game I set up about that.
Right. Okay.
But in the meantime, Chris, what did you think of it?
Yeah. Well, like I said, I enjoy it, and I think it's a good movie. I mean, I think the early scenes where it's just Max like driving around in his taxi, and it's sort of. It reminds me of like an art house movie or something, like quite a slow-paced, moody film.
Yeah, it's all shot in ambient light.
Yeah,
even at night, which makes it like
it gives it a certain palette, doesn't it?
Exactly. Yeah.
And Michael Mann can like shoot LA, and knows how to make it look amazing. Obviously,
exactly.
Yeah. Like I'd almost want to watch that movie of him just driving around.
I think that would be fine because LA's got a lot to offer.
Yeah.
The problem is, Jamie Foxx as a taxi driver, one, I find hard to swallow for reasons I'll come to shortly. But also, is Max supposed to be like really wise and like he understands the world? Or is he like a simpleton and you're meant to feel like sorry for him because he just can't do anything right?
I think actually the film, because you're asking that with a certain sort of like curl at the end of your lips sort of thing, aren't you? Like, but I think actually the film does a pretty good job of showing him to have like this whole philosophical, he's got that picture in his sun visor of the beach and he's like,
I take a vacation 12 times a day.
Yeah, exactly, all that sort of stuff. But actually I think his time with Vincent shows that to be just bullshit. Like, because Vincent's like saying, you're never going to call her, you're never going to start up your business. It's all just, you're saying you're going to do all this stuff and then bang, like you're dead and you never did it.
Yeah.
So I think it's like, it does a good job of showing both sides of it, I think.
I guess so, but so you think he comes across initially as like,
I think he comes across as like
he's deep.
Yeah, and then by the end of the film, he's forced into action. Yeah.
Fair enough. I guess that makes me see it in a different light.
Yeah, I sort of know what you mean though, because it does show him to be sort of like a incapable, individual. But actually, if you look at his character arc, at the start he's very sort of, sedentary almost, and then by the end of the film he's like. Impersonated a hitman to like a crime boss.
Well, let's talk about that scene because that is particularly. I mean, I mentioned Jamie Foxx is hard to swallow as a taxi driver.
Yeah,
he's also hard to swallow as a hitman. Because the only way, like, he sat in the chair opposite Javier Bardem.
Right? Felix.
And he's like, tell the man to get his gun out of my face. And then he takes off his glasses, and it's like, oh, and now he means business.
Yeah.
But that would only make sense if it was sunglasses, because then he'd be able to see clearer. If he needs glasses to improve his vision, taking them off isn't going to make like...
Unless they're like distance like if they're driving car, so he can see because he's short-sighted. It's like I don't need these because I'm just focused on you now, Felix.
Do you know
You're
what,
sat 6 foot away from me.
He doesn't actually look over his shoulder to see the gun. He just says, right? Is that because he's a taxi driver and he's used to just like sensing things in his peripheral all day?
Yeah,
I like
that's
that.
his superpower. Yeah, he's looked in mirror. He's like gotten so used to everything happening behind him that he can just sense it now.
Yeah,
that's a good reading of that. Yeah,
God Almighty. Yeah, you happy with that? Jamie Foxx is a taxi driver.
I think he's all right. I mean, maybe not now, like that he's been fucking Django and like Ray and all that. But he, back then he was not the star that he was, not the star that he is now.
No, try so. Yeah.
And like I said, I just like the film. I like it's sort of like I think Tom Cruise is excellent. Jamie Foxx is really good.
Tom Cruise is very good,
and the sort of banter between them, the dynamic is really entertaining.
Yeah. I don't know. I do find it grates on me a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, just the script is. It's fine when you're watching it, but then the more you think about it, it just disintegrates, I think.
Right.
And I think now's the time. Now's the time to introduce my game.
Okay.
We're into our quizzes now on the How to Survive podcast.
Yeah,
so do a lot of
every
them,
week. Yeah.
So, Chris, with that in mind, let's play Collateral quotes or Instagram quotes. So, Chris, I'm going to give you a quote from either Collateral or one I just pulled off of an Instagram feed.
Okay.
And you have to tell me which one it is.
Sure.
Okay, here we go. They project onto you their flaws, what they don't like about themselves.
Collateral?
That's Collateral, well done.
Yeah.
Some people die at 25 and aren't buried until they're 75.
Is that an Instagram quote?
That is Instagram.
Oh, good.
You know the difference, I like it. Don't cling to a past mistake just because you spent time making it.
That's 100% Instagram.
Yes, it is. Well, one night you'll wake up and you'll discover it never happened. Suddenly you're old. It didn't happen and it never will.
The problem with this game is that all of the Collateral ones, because this is another Collateral one.
Yeah.
They're all really downbeat. Well, Instagram ones are normally like, oh, don't let the haters bring you down. Collateral ones are more like, one day you're going to realise that your life passed you by and you're going to die soon.
All right. Happiness is achieved when you stop waiting for it and make the most of the moment you're in right now.
This is an Instagram one.
You've worked out a trend.
Yeah.
A couple more.
Yeah. I'm 5 for 5 at the moment.
There's no good reason and there's no bad reason to live or to die.
Oh.
No, made you think of this one?
Yeah, because it's got the word die in it, which is... I'm going to go with Instagram.
It's Collateral.
Oh, no.
Did you get everyone to live with it?
No, I didn't.
All right, a couple more and then we really are done.
Okay.
I never lose. I win or I learn.
That's Instagram.
Yep, that's attributed to Nelson Mandela.
Right.
All right.
The famous winner.
Yeah.
No, winner was his wife.
Very good. Very good. Winner Mandela,
yeah? Yeah, that's right.
Right, last one and then we'll wrap this nonsense up.
Yeah.
Still breathing? Now you've got to make the best of it.
Instagram?
That's Collateral.
Ah.
I mean, it's delivered very differently.
Yeah.
But so proof, Chris, that they are somewhat interchangeable.
Yeah. No, you made your point towards the end there.
Useless, vacuous philosophies that can, either inspire you or ruin a film.
Well, speaking of useless things, Joe, turns out this film teaches us one thing, and that's that useless police are not just limited to horror movies.
I love this bit. So,
the scene where they go to Fever, I think it's called, which is the club where Peter Lim is hiding.
Right, the last hiding, the second last
in
target.
The VIP section. Yeah. On the night before his
in a spotlight.
Yeah, with his bodyguards, and Max and Vincent go there. The LAPD go there, and Felix's bodyguards all go there.
Yeah,
right. Let's bear in mind that the point of hiring an anonymous hitman is to make sure that you can't be linked to any of the murders. And so what Felix does is send a few of his closest friends to the scene of a murder that's about to happen with guns. And says, make sure you kill indiscriminately if anything goes
fire
wrong.
into the crowd.
Yeah, that should help matters. But basically Mark Ruffalo plays Detective Fanning.
Yeah.
And he dies escorting a high-value witness out of a gunfight, has his gun drawn, but doesn't see Vincent standing 10 feet in front of him with a gun or do anything to protect the witness that he's escorting.
Yeah.
And aside from that, that's like the named policeman character, really.
Yeah.
The rest of the policemen basically see Max on a CCTV camera and go, yeah, that's him. Although one thing I am glad about is that they didn't at any point, they hear his voice going,
God.
Vincent. And it's like the worst fucking CSI, please expand on that.
It's like they're recording it from a CCTV camera from like the opposite street with a road in between.
Yeah.
And they're somehow able to isolate the sound in perfect quality.
Exactly.
We should record the
podcast
podcast
in a studio. And they say, he goes, I'm Vincent. Tell him it's Vincent. And they go, he's called Vincent. I'm so glad, because it's been a while since I'd seen this film, so I wondered if they're going to do this. So glad they didn't go, not the Vincent. Famous mob assassin Vincent. Like,
you mean that Vincent?
What Vincent? My dad worked on the Vincent case. He disappeared, but I knew it wasn't suicide.
My dad was a cab driver.
Yeah.
They do have that.
They have a guy who is a cab driver who killed a load of people and then himself went mad. Yeah.
But Mark Ruffalo never bought it.
Yeah. Anyway, Mark Ruffalo is the only named police officer. But let's not forget that the rest of the LAPD storm this club, go up to Max and go, Vincent! Freeze! Don't move! And then Vincent
puts his hands up.
Vincent shoots the main, the lead FBI agent in the leg, and he falls to the floor. And there's a shot of his face, and I can only every time I see that shot, I just think it looks like he's going, "Fuck, this happened, right?" It's just such a resigned look of for fuck's sake, I've really messed this one up. I should have listened to Mark Ruffalo, who's outside being killed.
Yeah.
But that's a classic Hollywood trope. But it doesn't stop it from being an enjoyable movie.
Well, Chris, you said you haven't seen it in a while, and I hadn't either. And there was one quote that as soon as it was approaching, I recognised this is where it's from. Because it's been, when you see a movie and the quote rattles around in your head. I haven't seen it for it's been 12 years now.
Right.
But this quote, Chris, is when Max says to Vincent, "You killed that guy," and he says, "No, I didn't kill him. Bullets in the fool killed him."
Yeah.
After we just shot him out a window.
Yeah.
Right. Now, is that a good defence in your opinion?
He's taking a very glib view of the situation.
I know someone who's kind of knows the law more than we do. Mm-hmm. Taking the chance to ask her a few questions. So I'm going to include that now. Flick over now. So here you go. Okay. Here's that conversation.
What makes you qualified to comment on the legal proceedings?
I have an undergraduate degree in law.
So you haven't passed the bar?
No, I didn't bother with the diploma.
That's fine. I'm sure that will be admissible in court. So have you seen the movie Collateral?
Yes, yeah.
Do you remember Tom Cruise, his character Vincent, kills a man by shooting him, which makes him fall through a window onto the cab. And Jamie Foxx's character Max says to him, "Oh, you killed that guy." And he says, "I didn't kill him. Bullets and the fool killed him." Now, if that was to go to court and that was his defence, how far do you think he'd get?
Not very far.
Why not?
He fired the bullet. It's the reason of his death was because of the gun and the action he took. So what the court would do is, if he was still maintaining that argument, they would say, right, let's do the reasonable man test, whereby you look at whether a reasonable man would have taken the action that Tom Cruise did in those circumstances. And by and large, they wouldn't. So therefore, he's guilty of murder, homicide.
But I mean, he isn't incorrect though. He didn't actually kill him with his like hands or anything. It was the bullets and the fall that killed him.
It was, but it doesn't hold up because the bullets came from the gun that he fired.
You mentioned the reasonable man. Vincent isn't a reasonable man.
As in Tom Cruise, sorry.
Tom Cruise's character, he's not reasonable. He's not known to be reasonable.
Well, in the eyes of the law, everyone is held up against the reasonable man test unless they're thought to be mentally incapacitated, in which case it would be culpable homicide instead of manslaughter.
So in any case, he's going away.
Yeah, pretty much.
If you were defending him, what would your line of defence be?
What would my line of defence be? I would basically, you couldn't defend that action. What you would try and do is reduce the years of sentencing.
Okay, so go for a plea bargain or something.
I would go for a plea and say that he was mentally incapacitated.
Okay. Well, thank you for your time. I'll let you get back to embarrassed. I'll let you get back into court.
Thanks.
So they're interesting. It wouldn't work if you were to use that.
Probably not. And another plot hole. In
Another one in the Collateral.
Yeah, which is not actually a plot hole. I want to stand up for Collateral here, but it's something that I see oft repeated. And I know that when I originally watched this movie with my dad, he was rolling his eyes at this scene.
Yeah,
and it's the bit where
he's wants to roll his eyes, isn't he?
He is, yeah, yeah. He loved that the bullets in the fall killed him line. By the way, laughed out loud at it. Yeah, so. There's the scene at the end where they have their climactic sort of gun battle on the metro, and the lights go out and they sort of shoot wildly.
Yeah.
Right. And then the lights come back on and Vincent's been shot, but Max hasn't.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, oh, why is it fucking so shit that he's like a really good hitman until this
1 second where he needs to.
Yeah. But it's actually makes sense, and here's why. Okay. It's not as stupid and illogical as it first seems.
It does seem it.
Yeah, but earlier in the film, the coroner remarks that Vincent's victims have very tight grouping of wounds in the sternum.
Double shot on the sternum and then one in the head.
Yeah, right, which is all central to your body, right?
Yeah.
So sternum and head is center of mass and head.
Mm-hmm.
And when the lights come back on in the metro, you can see bullet holes in the door of the thing, but the windows are sort of either side because it's a door that sort of splits at the middle.
Right.
And so all of his shots have hit the central column of the doors and not gone through the window because of how he aims, right? Whereas Max fires wildly and
just gets lucky.
Yeah. So it does seem silly, but the seed is actually planted earlier in the film. It does make sense. The fact that I have to do so much evangelization about it, like sort of,
Yeah, I mean, that does make sense, but then by the same token, why didn't you sidestep? And
Man, the lights went out, mate. He's not used to working in the dark.
It is. I mean, the gunplay is very good. Like Tom Cruise knows how to use a gun.
Definitely, yeah. The scene where the bit in the alley where he shoots the thugs.
So
it's very well directed action, I think, and performed action. And also, just to finish off this part about stupid things people say about Collateral. We're a fan of just fucking shit IMDb trivia.
Yeah.
I think a new low bar has been set for pointless IMDb trivia.
With Collateral?
With this piece of trivia for Collateral.
Okay.
I'll read it to you now. Max has to protect Annie from being killed by Vincent, as she is his final target. Jamie Foxx would later appear in Annie, which was produced by Jada Pinkett Smith.
It's pretty painful, isn't it? Like,
it's just words. It's just the same words. Like, if it was like, and they talk about Annie, get your gun.
Yeah.
And
if it was like they have a lengthy discussion about Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory,
yeah,
and then they both go in to star in Willy, like that's annoying.
Yeah. if Jamie Foxx's character was like, oh, I had to watch Annie when I was, oh, you're called Annie. I used to hate the musical Annie when I was a child, and then later went on to star in Annie.
Yeah.
Then
there's
no trivia there. There's no. These are two. This is like word association. Like
I'd say, the only way that could be justified is if Annie, the character in Collateral, Jada Pinkett Smith, is sat in the back of the cab, and she says, "You know what my dream is? To produce a modern adaptation of the movie Annie with a primarily black cast."
Yeah.
And he'd say, "Do you know what? I'd love to star in that."
Yeah.
And she says, can you sing?" And he started, "The sun will come out tomorrow." That would justify it.
If when deciding to run his taxi off the road, rather than saying, "You know what, Vincent, you can go fuck yourself," he said, "You know what, Vincent, the sun will come out tomorrow," and then like crashed his car off the barrier. Yeah. Can you tell that we don't know any other songs from the musical Annie?
I'm sure there's one called Easy Street, which I quite
maybe.
like.
Yeah. Oh, what building is the victim on? Oh, it's Easy and Third. Should we do How to Survive, Joe?
Yeah, we better.
Yeah.
So, Chris,
Yeah.
if you were a taxi driver, you'd be a more believable one than Jamie Foxx, maybe. Maybe not. How would you survive if you were... What's the word I'm looking for? If you were commandeered for the evening by Tom Cruise with grey hair.
Well, it's interesting to contrast this film, I think, because it was made in 2004, with the current political climate in America in 2016. Because there's a scene where after the body has landed on his car, he gets pulled over by the cops, right, by the LAPD, who have let's say, a checkered history with racial prejudice.
Yeah.
It was probably bad in 2004. I would venture that it's probably worse in 2016.
Or it's been consistently bad throughout.
Yeah.
Like the police came out in
1988. Yeah, late
right?
80s, 90s obviously was a particularly bad period.
Yeah.
But yeah, they pull him over, and basically, my suggestion for Max is that the moment that they pull over, he just fucking runs out the car, runs to the police.
Yeah.
Right? Just runs
Or just
away.
Jumps into their arms.
Yeah, like, please save me from this white-haired sociopathic hitman who's in the back of my car.
He would shoot them all.
Yeah, but how, like, I know, yeah, but the thing with Vincent is that as we've discussed, he has a very particular way of killing people,
right,
and shooting his gun, which you do see as well. Whenever he draws his gun, it's in like a very purposeful stance.
Two in the sternum, one in the head.
And he fires it from a particular position.
Mm-hmm. But I mean, Jamie Foxx isn't to know that. At that point.
Yeah, that's true. But I think he's also not to know how effective an assassin he is. Although this is post suitcase alleyway incident, he is. But basically my suggestion is, as soon as don't give any indication that you're about to do it, but cops pull you over, he's going, "No, you better play this cool, get them to go." And like as Vincent's mid sentence, you just go out the door, like straight run Vincent. The problem with this, Joe, is that depending on the political climate of the era, those cops are just going to shoot him dead, aren't they?
Yeah.
Because he's a black man at a traffic stop. So, and it's America. Yeah. So basically,
we laugh. It's terrible.
It is terrible. Yeah. Like in 2004, if we're talking when the film was set, he might have been able to, because they treat him. There's no racial subtext to the way in which he's treated by the police in the film.
They're just following procedure.
Yeah, exactly.
As they should.
Yeah.
But then they failed to follow procedure thoroughly enough.
Yeah, exactly. And they, so in 2004, if he ran towards the police, he might be all right. 2016, that would probably be grounds to be shot dead by the LAPD. So it's difficult. Yeah. But my suggestion is basically use your one chance to get an authority figure who has a gun between you and Vincent.
Yeah, I like that.
So,
yeah. I mean, do what you can.
And either way, like if you run, past the police car, like down the street and everything, Vincent's not going to chase you down the street just to get you to keep driving his taxi when you've just when he's just shot 2 police officers dead.
Yeah.
So it's a good way to give him bigger problems than
Bigger fish to fry.
Yeah, exactly.
I'd love to see that. Like
that was the last scene that you see Max in.
Yeah.
Is he runs out of the taxi and down the street.
I did think when they rolled the car.
Yeah.
I do think like how good would it be if Max was dead?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's my first suggestion, basically.
Yeah. Well, fair enough. I quite like it.
I think basically the premise is to get an authority figure who isn't Detective Fanning between you and
Yeah.
You know.
Although Fanning was behind him, I think, when he got shot.
Yeah. Maybe he could park somewhere where the rear doors of the taxi are like penned in.
Yeah.
But the front doors aren't. And so he can just get out the front door and then Vincent can't get out of the car. Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah.
Well, I've got one very sensible one, Chris.
Okay.
You drive a car.
I do, yeah.
What's the first thing you do when you get in?
Check to see if it's in gear.
Well, no, before that.
Put your seatbelt on.
Put your seatbelt on, for God's sake.
Yeah.
No one in the film wears a seatbelt.
Yeah, that is true.
Even when he knows he's about to crash the car, he's going 100 miles an hour.
Yeah.
What's the first thing you do? Put the seatbelt on because you don't want to die.
Yeah.
And
is that like a cultural thing, do you think? Must be.
I guess if you were in a car all day, it'd be quite annoying, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it's true, but not as annoying as going through the windshield of your car as you roll it.
But they're both unscathed by the
most they've got Hollywood wounds on their foreheads or whatever. Yeah, it's a good point. I mean, general road safety is something that we're consistent advocates of.
Yeah.
So
mirror signal maneuver and wear a seatbelt.
Yeah, he doesn't indicate when he's about to crash the taxi into that thing either, does he?
Dreadful.
Reckless.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I also mentioned it earlier with something which is originally one of my How to Survives. Yeah. Which is basically don't take your glasses off if you need them to see.
Yeah, also good advice. Yeah. Yeah. Well, that recklessness, the crashing the car, I was thinking maybe he could have crashed the car earlier. Like, so as soon as they get back in the car after the body's landed on their taxi, like the next thing he should be looking to do is just roll his car. Yeah. Like, why not roll your car on a highway where there's lots of other traffic? Yeah. And then you've got a better chance of good Samaritans. Like Vincent's not going to kill like 400 like people on a highway, is he? And then blame it on a taxi driver going mad. Yeah. Yeah, but basically what I wanted to ask was, do we as survivors in Max's shoes have a burden of responsibility to stop Vincent from killing his targets?
Yes, I guess. Well,
because we're after sort of general survival, aren't we?
Exactly. It's the maximum survival. And you can't, like we say, you can't push him in front of a car or anything just to save yourself.
Yeah, unless it's your killer.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, in that sense, isn't it? You know, what we should be aiming for is getting, putting these survival methods as early into the film as possible.
Yeah. Like this second they meet.
Yeah, exactly. He very nearly, maybe a survival tip should be don't chase after customers. Because at the start, Vincent comes up and says, "Oh, can you give me a ride?" Yeah. And he's in his happy place looking at the fucking postcard of a beach or whatever it is. Yeah. And then almost, it's one of those things. It's like a sliding doors moment, isn't it? Yeah. You see the two paths. It could have been a different taxi driver.
Oh. Can you, if I showed you a picture of an island and now you'd be like, that's nice. Yeah. Can
you imagine looking at it
12 times a day as your only
and having the same level of satisfaction from it every time? No wonder he doesn't do anything. He's the most boring man anyone's ever met.
That is a nice photograph.
Let me imagine their fucking first date, Max and Annie. Yeah. Let me tell you about this beach again.
She's like, last year I was in Tokyo. I'm a high-powered lawyer, so I could afford to go anywhere.
I'm not interested. Let me show you this postcard. Yeah.
So I was in court the other day, defending this white-collar crime. He'd stolen $500 million.
Have I shown you this? Yeah. But basically, my survival tip is just, why not crash the car really early into your encounter with Vincent, maybe even before he's a hitman, and then you're going to stop people from being killed. Yeah,
fair enough. I like it. Just act early.
Yeah.
Strictly speaking, we shouldn't be giving advice to Max anyway because he does survive.
Yeah.
The person to consider is Vincent.
Oh, of course, yeah.
And my advice to Vincent is don't leave all your work till the last minute.
He's rushing, isn't he?
It's the night before the trial.
Yeah.
Why didn't you do it a week earlier?
Like, what?
And this could be the fault of Felix.
Can you imagine, like, any, like, district attorney or, whatever the setup is in America, and they go, we've got a bit of a problem for the hearing today.
Yeah.
Because all 5 star witnesses were shot dead last night.
Okay, that's unusual.
Do you think it's got anything to do with Felix?
No. They were shot dead in the same way by
a
rogue taxi driver.
These rogue taxi driver killings, they've been responsible for the murders of at least 400 grand jury witnesses in the last 5 years. It's amazing how this keeps happening.
But yeah, I mean,
don't leave your work till last minute. Well, yeah, because he could have, spread it out over a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Although he does say at the start, we can't change the motivations of the characters.
Yeah. He
does say he doesn't like LA, and every time he comes here, he wants to leave straight away.
Right.
So maybe he's
still though, you
just hates LA so much that he's
wants to minimise the time.
Exactly. Yeah.
And also, I guess if you killed one on Thursday, they'd put the others in hiding on Friday.
Exactly. Yeah. And also, maybe it's like, he's obviously a freelancer.
Yeah.
And so you make your own schedule. So if he's doing it all on one day, overnight, in fact, he's freeing up time to be working on other projects, isn't he?
Exactly. Yeah. So tomorrow
maybe he's got something in development, or
he'll be in New York and hijacking a bus or something.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Villain for hire. Yeah. Well, I want to return to that climactic scene as well in Fever. Where all the different paths of the film join, basically. How many times have you been on a night out, like clubbing? Like
in my life?
Yeah, in the hundreds probably.
Probably,
right? Yeah. What percentage of that of those times would you say there's been a point in the night where you've lost everyone that you came to the club with?
A few times, a fair few.
Yeah. It's probably quite a high percentage, right?
Yeah.
It's pretty easy to lose people in a club.
Yeah, you go for a piss, they've moved on to a different booth or whatever.
Yeah. They've gone to the bar.
Yeah.
Or you're slower getting your drink than they are, so suddenly you don't know where they are.
Yeah.
Walking around like a lemon.
Yeah. Happens to you a lot, does it?
Yeah. Weird that.
Yeah.
No, but just it's a crowded club, right? It's by the way, little side note. This is like the most Hollywood club I've ever seen in my life.
Everyone runs to the left. Everyone runs to the right.
It's the most movie nightclub. I think. Like everyone is like the right kind of drunk. There's no one like stumbling, falling over.
No one like shouting, "I love you!"
Yeah, no one taking any selfies, Joe, because it's 2004. Everyone's really attractive and glamorous.
Yeah.
They all look the part. There's room to dance and move about without it becoming an issue of being overcrowded, Joe. You know when you're in a club and everyone's
spilling your drink.
Yeah, no one's bumping into you. Yeah, you've been in a club where people were, everyone's a bit close. It's just annoying, isn't it?
Yeah, knocking your arm.
Yeah, you're trying to do when you're doing your robot or whatever.
Yeah. Well, maybe this is a real luxury club. We don't go to those sorts of clubs.
There's too rarefied
access.
Too rarefied for the likes of us.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe you're right. Yeah. Well, I've certainly never been to a nightclub that is showing what looks like Asian lesbian pornography on the TV screens around the club. But yeah, basically my summary for this final How to Survive of mine is basically just there's a big crowd. Just walk off. What's he going to do? Start shooting you in the middle of a nightclub?
Well, that's literally what he tries to do.
He doesn't try to shoot Max, Joe. He tries to save him, if you remember.
Oh, yeah. He does save him, literally,
yeah.
True, but I mean, there's a lot of people there. You're going to take down...
You know when
he's like Max, you sneak out the back door.
Yeah, exactly. You know when he shoots the guy who's about to kill Max, basically, and then they sort of exchange a look. And the closest comparison to the look, the best way to describe that look, I think, for me, is like they've It's not one of like thanks or like, gratitude or anything like that. It's a bit like they've accidentally held each other's hand or something. And they sort of look at each other like, let's never mention this again. And then it doesn't ever come up in the film again.
Yeah.
You might notice. It's a bit awkward, isn't it?
It is weird.
Yeah.
So I guess
It's like Tom Cruise doesn't want to have been seen
being nice.
apparently caring about someone.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
A lot of interesting things in this film.
Yeah. But yeah, basically lose him in the crowd in the club, just slip out.
Walk out the back door.
Yeah.
Hide behind the bar.
Yeah.
Go in the toilet.
Yeah.
Lots of things. Yeah, fair enough. So Chris, I mean, people travel on business all the time, right?
Mm-hmm.
And one of the biggest enterprises, if you'll excuse the pun, is hire cars.
Yeah.
They're not hard to come by.
No.
Every major airport and minor airport has an exorbitant amount of hire car options.
Mm-hmm.
And they're affordable. And for a man who can spend $600 on a taxi fare,
Yeah.
you'd think a hire car might be a little bit more suitable.
Yeah.
Why doesn't he just drive around in his own car under his own steam?
Well, you've like most questions, Joe. The answer is hidden within the question.
Yeah.
In many ways. You mentioned he pays $600 to retain Max basically for the evening.
Yeah.
How does he pay him?
Cash.
Yeah. If you're hiring a car,
Yeah.
you're gonna have to fill out forms, paperwork. You're gonna have to do it in the car rental office. There's gonna be cameras.
True.
You're gonna have to be, show your ID. They'll probably take a photocopy of it. Gonna have to swipe a debit card or a credit card.
All right, fair enough. Why not just steal a car?
Just getting your hands dirty, innit? What are you gonna do with
I
that
suppose someone
afterwards?
calls in that car's stolen, you could get more attention.
Yeah. And also you can't blame a string of murders on a disgruntled car rental dealership employee.
True. Well, how about the part where it goes wrong for Vincent
Yeah.
is when he throws the body out of the window onto the car.
Well, he shoots him and he goes, I think he falls through the window. I don't think it's like, he's not doing it in contempt, like, I know what will make my life easier. If I throw this, but like, you forget that for the 3/4 of the film, they're
There's a
driving
body
around
in
in
the
a body in the car. Like they're sat outside a club.
Yeah. Oh man, what a stupid film.
Yeah. Right, well, that just about covers it, I think. So if you find yourself driving your taxi around listening to How to Survive and you're a bit suspicious of the guy in the back, then maybe you've got all the tools you need to survive, Joe.
Yeah, maybe.
But if you've got any further suggestions, then you can always get in touch. The email address is howtosurviveshow@gmail.com. The Twitter is @howtosurvivepod.
Exactly, Chris. What Bridget's done. Bridget says, my survival tip for Collateral is to convince Tom Cruise that he would be better off going in a new car that isn't being chased by police.
Yeah.
And then I'd say my goodbyes, drive to the hospital and hug my mum.
I don't think Vincent's planning on actually letting Max leave, though, is he?
No.
I think that conversation would go like this. Why don't you just go to a new taxi? Because you've already seen me murder 4 people.
Yeah.
So I don't think he's going to go, I won't tell anyone though. So
Yeah.
he's going to end up in the boot as well, isn't he?
In fact, he
basically?
even says that, where he says like...
The police
yeah.
the police are going to end up in the boot, yeah.
No, he says to Max, like, I'll just let you go, yeah? Because you haven't seen anything. He's like, yeah, sure, I haven't seen anything. He's like, keep driving.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So thanks for the email, but no dice.
Yeah, it's an interesting idea, yeah. If you could somehow... You'd need a bit of leverage, basically. I won't say anything if you let me go because I've seen you do actually care about saving people's lives because you saved mine. Something like that.
Yeah. You don't want that secret getting out. Yeah.
So once again, the Twitter handle is @HowToSurvivePod. The email address is howtosurviveshow@gmail.com. Collateral was actually recommended to us by a listener. So we do listen to your emails, and if you've got any film suggestions, then please get in touch. And in the meantime, if you enjoy the podcast, then please leave a review on iTunes or your podcast app of choice, because it really helps us find a new audience.
5 stars, if you would.
That is the language of love. 1 for every one of Vincent's targets.
And speaking of targets, do set your sights next week on A little known production, Chris. Everything's a little known when I introduce it.
Yeah.
It's called Hunger Games,
Mm-hmm.
and it's actually a massive blockbuster.
Yeah.
You seen it?
I have, yeah.
Yeah.
It'd be a good one
Yeah.
to talk about.
I've never seen the end. I always fall asleep.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I have to stay awake for this one.
Yeah.
Have a strong coffee before I start.
And so we will see you back bright and breezy next week. Thanks very much for listening. And in the meantime,
may the odds be ever in your favour. That's what he said, right?